And I am super excited that she signed up to host a call because number one, I've been working really closely with Carissa and she has a lot of value to add. But number two, I think that it's really important that everyone tries to figure out what's something that they're really good at. What's a gift that you have, whether it be, I don't know, how you keep your challenge group exciting, or how you close a sale, or how you consistently show up on social media even on bad days. Like whatever it is that you do well, that you like don't struggle at all with the business, that's something that you should be contributing to the team. It's a good, you all have something to offer, but also this is great practice for you talking live on your Instagram stories, on your Facebook page, in social media, talking to other people. This is, yes, this is scary, but at least you know us. You know that we're all cheering for you when you hop on this call and you decide to speak. So it gives you good practice public speaking for those times when maybe you don't know everybody that's on the other side of the screen. Just saying. All right. I'm going to let Carissa take it away.
Okay, so hopefully my internet connection stays stable this whole time. I think that's my biggest worry besides my dogs freaking out. So thanks everybody for being on the call. So this is, like Lindsay said, the first time I've done a team call. So I really hope that you guys take something away from it. And I hope your takeaway isn't that I should never host another team call. So I wanted to talk tonight about reigniting your spark. You know, the spark that you got when you first started coaching and decided that that was the path for you instead of just following the programs. But I can also tell you that you can use what I'm going to talk about tonight to reignite a spark in pretty much any aspect of your life. So really, if you don't know me, my name's Carissa. I've been a coach for just over a year now. In my day-to-day life, I'm a business agent for a public sector labor union. And if you don't know what that means I have a high stress, crazy job where I work around 60 to 80 hours in 1 week instead of 2, like most people. So most of the time I'm arguing on behalf of my members for equality, safety, and fair treatment on the work site. And that's my day-to-day life. So for coaching, only an Emerald coach. And anytime that I've ever thought about doing a team call, my immediate reaction right after that is no one needs to hear from you. And that's kind of what Lindsay was just talking about, right? So I always think nobody wants to hear from you. They don't need to hear from you. You have nothing to add on this team. Just sit back and learn from our others. But that's totally not true. I think we all have something to add. And maybe you personally might not need any of these tips that I have to share tonight. And that's fantastic if you don't, but I'm really hoping that somebody can be helped by this. So back to my topic, reigniting your spark. So I've had to do this a few times for coaching. I've done it in other aspects of my life, like I said. But my career tends to suck me dry from time to time, and then my coaching business suffers for it. Coaching isn't something that I feel confident in doing all the time. It's not like when I'm working my day-to-day job, I feel confident and I'm sure of myself and I know what I'm doing and I am damn sure that I'm doing the best job I can. And coaching isn't the same for me. So I do have to reignite this spark sometimes. I wasn't an athlete or into fitness. And in fact, I actually freaking hate to exercise. I hate it. I love the feeling of accomplishment when I'm done. I love the physical transformation it gives to my body. I love the endorphins it releases. And I love it reduces my stress and anxiety level. But am I excited to get up every morning and hit play? No, I'm not. For me, it's like a medieval torture and I'd really rather be watching Netflix. But Netflix ain't helping me hit my goals, so pushing play is what I do. And the results that I've achieved and how freaking fantastic I feel keep me going and are really what got me into coaching. So even though I know how to regain enthusiasm, I wasn't applying these techniques consistently either. So the ultimate result, nothing. I wasn't helping my customers, I wasn't helping myself, and I certainly wasn't growing my business. So my first tip to reignite your spark, pretend. Pretend. That sounds silly, right? Like, pretend what? Pretend that you're excited. Pretend that you just cannot wait to get out there and invite 10 more people to join you. Pretend that you're a coach that is on top of all of the things. If you pretend, you can literally trick yourself into feeling and behaving the way that you want. There's a reason that Shaun T says, conquer your mind, change your life. I learned this technique actually by a therapist whom I was seeing about 10 years ago. I applied this technique when trying to gain enthusiasm in another aspect of my life, but I found it to be so successful in that arena. I've used it in all aspects, really. So there's two ways that I can teach you how to implement this. And that's the first one is imagine yourself when you were excited about coaching. Take yourself back to the first time you ever sold a challenge pack. When someone told you that they hit a goal, and you helped. Your biggest paycheck hitting your account, signing up someone on your dream team coach list, any of those things. Only you can decide what that moment or even moments are for you. But now you got to close your eyes and feel that emotion. Take a few minutes of quiet time, even if it's in the bathroom with the door locked and the water running, to drown out the chaos and really meditate on those emotions. You really got to feel that. And you should find yourself smiling. And if you don't, do it a little bit longer. But you got to pretend to be right back in that moment. And don't stop pretending until your brain is actually convinced that that time in the past is now present day. And then once you get your brain convinced, get to work. That's it. And don't forget to bank memories for future use as well. The next time something makes you smile in your business, deposit that feeling for withdrawal when you catch the blast. Like I said, I first learned this technique for something completely different than health and fitness coaching. So do this for anything that has gone a little stale on you. And the second way you can do that, like my first tip, is pretending you're someone else. Pretend that you're that top coach that you follow on Instagram, or pretend that you are out there just freaking killing it. Pretend that you are someone else, and that can be extremely powerful. It can help you to tap into new aspects of yourself. Looking at a situation with a new perspective will help you to find ideas and resources that already are inside of you, but you haven't tapped into them yet. Also, walking in someone else's shoes can also help you help your newly excited self relate to the person that you've been talking to but hasn't pulled the trigger yet. You might start to gain some insight as to their why I can't belief. An additional tip to boost your confidence in that, and this sounds silly, but trust me, it works. Pose like Wonder Woman. You know the pose, right? Like feet hips width apart, hands on your hips, chin up. Hold that pose in the morning and then get ready to slay your day. I'm not kidding. I'm fully aware of how silly that sounds, but then I tried it. Holding that pose for a minute tricks your brain. It tricks your brain into believing the body language that you're actually portraying. And you can bet your butt that I totally stood like that before this call because I was nervous as all hell. So tip number 2 for reigniting your spark. Have an attitude of gratitude. What's going well for you? There has to be something that you can look at and say, yep, I am doing a kick butt job at that, or I am truly blessed because fill in the blank. When we stop to recognize what is going well in our lives and focus on things in which we are grateful, that creates a mindset shift. It's pretty common for us to focus on the negative, to figuratively beat ourselves over the head with everything that's going wrong, what we didn't follow through with, the times when we dropped the ball, everything in between. I'm not saying that some self-reflection isn't a good thing, so we can take note of how we want to improve, but we certainly can't be sitting in a stew of those emotions and then expect to feel invigorated when we sit down to work. Sorry, my dog's going nuts. Do you have a gratitude journal? So That's something I find really beneficial. I keep this journal of things that I'm grateful for to look back on when I get into a funk. I'm going to be completely honest and say that there have been many times in my life when I was convinced that I had absolutely nothing to be grateful for. In fact, before I married Aaron, and especially before I had Henry, it was easy for me to look at all of my failures and not see one solitary blessing, not one. Now, when those feelings of self-doubt creep in, or when I start to think that I'm failing at something, I can open up my gratitude journal and start to believe in myself all over again. The interesting thing about a gratitude journal is that it's not only beneficial to read, but it's also beneficial to write in. So, I mean, obviously you have to write in it to actually have something to read, but either one of those activities will help you to feel upbeat and then start believing in yourself again. So tip number 3 is 15 minutes for you, non-negotiable. What do you like to do? What makes you smile? What makes you breathe deep and fill your heart with joy? And please do not say, watch Netflix, because girl, you need to figure out who you are if that's your answer. Because I love Netflix. Netflix is freaking awesome. I love it. Ask Jen. I talk about it all the time with her. But anyway, I can't say that I've ever stood up from binge watching even the most uplifting show and tell you that I feel the same way after I've taken 15 minutes for myself to play my guitar or to sing and dance in the kitchen like nobody's watching me. Engaging your brain and doing something like that, something that you love for 15 minutes a day will change your mood, and it changes it for the better. And when we're in a good mood, we have more energy. And we have more energy, we can focus on those positive vibes that we've been cultivating into something amazing. And that's one of the other ways, like I said, you can reignite a spark for something, but you have to have the right mindset. Essentially, we could have probably done this whole call and said it's one tip, your mindset, right? But I'm trying to give you tips for that mindset. So anyway, not taking that time for yourself is a sacrifice that you should not be willing, or yeah, you shouldn't be willing to make that sacrifice. We always talk about not being able to pour from an empty cup and filling yours first. Well, that's exactly why. You have to think of the time that you're taking for yourself as fanning that little spark inside you. You want that spark to be a fire, you gotta feed that flame. So tip number 4, learn something new. National wake up calls, team calls, super weekend, summit. You might as well mark all those things on your calendar and go and do those things. Those things are specific to coaching, obviously, but really they all come from the concept of learning something new or hearing about something new. Carl is no dummy, clearly. He understands that people get excited when they're learning something new, hearing about upcoming product releases, being together in a like-minded community like this. So while we're facing new challenges with the current climate, these team calls, being active on the team page, reaching out to other women on the team to chat, listening to whatever is being discussed on Monday's call, it's all of that. All of those things are so vital to keeping your momentum going. Learning something new is a way to fire up your brain cells. You get pumped up about whatever you're absorbing into that awesome sponge inside your skull. Your brain actually likes to think and be engaged if you're unaware of that. So let's let it do its thing. You just have to give it to the material. You have to give it something to get started. And there are so many trainings out there and so many things you can learn to implement in this business. I don't think that there's ever a point you can say, I know it all, I'm done. I don't need to learn anything new. I don't think that's possible. Okay, so number 5, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. That's a fantastic book. It's by Marie Kondo, right? But that's about ridding your house of clutter. But for our purposes, I'm going to talk about where you're doing your work for your business. So are you sitting at a desk in a room deemed your office in your home? Or are you doing everything from your phone on your couch? Or something in between? It doesn't really matter what room you're in or whether you use a laptop or a phone. What does matter is how you feel when you do it. This is why you should declutter that space and get comfy. Is it possible to do the work in a mess on a tiny little phone? Absolutely. That's one of the beautiful things about our businesses. This work can literally be done anytime, anywhere. But do you want to be more productive and happy about sitting down to work on this business? Well, then find a place where you can feel centered, organized, and comfortable. This is my same goal, whether I'm working on coaching stuff, writing up contract language, or meal prepping. When clutter surrounds me, my brain literally feels cluttered. It's harder to get out my thoughts or make my lunch for the week. When my workspace is organized, including my kitchen counters for meal preps, I know where everything is. I can find it without a struggle. I also don't get distracted by looking up to see a disaster that's just waiting for me to pick it up. I could literally spend an hour on this tip alone, because a lot of it will go back to how to organize your space, how to organize your time to be more productive. But I actually signed up for another team call, so you're just gonna have to tune in for that one if you want my tips on that stuff. Um, Tip number 6. Um, sorry. Move your body, feed your mind, rest and repeat. This one honestly really should go without saying because of the community that I'm talking to right now, right? But I'm going to say it anyway. You have to intentionally move your body. And you know that you should be, right? You know that you should be practicing and reading self-development, professional development, but self-development is the biggest one. We know those things are vital behaviors, but are you doing it? You need to be doing it if you're not. How many hours of sleep are you getting? And rest is crucial to good self-care. If you're running on low sleep, you're not going to be firing on all cylinders. You're not going to be as productive throughout your day. And if you've lost a spark and you're only going on 3 hours of sleep night after night after night, well, it's going to be really hard to get that back if you're not rested. So again, we all know those things, but sometimes when we start to lose that spark, they get put on the back burner as well. And it's hard, like I said, to get that spark back if we're constantly putting those things on the back burner. And how much garbage are you eating? Because honestly, like, it's 100% fine to treat yourself. Lord knows that I took complete advantage of this quarantine for sure. But too many treats can actually like pollute your body with garbage, and that's how you're gonna feel. You're gonna feel like garbage. So I just thought I'd keep it real with y'all and throw that one in there too. You got to make sure that you're being a product of the product, right? Because that helps. When you're doing those things, you're going to feel good about yourself, and you're going to feel more upbeat about actually doing all of these things to keep your spark up and going and to keep that fire going inside you. So tip number 7, and this is the last one, and I was actually talking to Lindsay earlier. I think I had way more tips that I could have certainly given or whatever, but I wanted to try to keep it kind of condensed. Who are you keeping company with? You're keeping company with negative Nancy or positive Polly. Those people that you spend time around, they directly influence your mood and your actions. Do you want to be a positive and more productive person? Then you need to find other people that have similar goals and smiling faces to be around. Negativity is as contagious as a yawn. So if you have someone in your life that leaves you feeling worn out and depressed or bad about yourself, then do yourself a big favor. Take a big step back and stay away from them. Those people are leeches. They will suck the life force from you. Lean back into them when you feel like you are capable of leaving them with positive energy, but not going to be sucking up their negativity and then feeding off of it. And if you can't lean into them again, well, that's life sometimes. And I think Lindsay actually told me once, bless it and let it go. And that's my new favorite saying. I'm bless it and let it go. And a side note too, one more thing that Lindsay's talked a lot about lately is the collective. What a freaking amazing community that is. And it's well worth the, let's call it a club fee to be a part of. In this time of isolation from the rest of the world, I feel even more connected and excited about my business. And it's because of the content on that page. It just gets you really excited about implementing different things and whatnot. So Those are my top 7 tips to get you more excited and reignite your spark. So 1, pretend. 2, attitude of gratitude. 3, 15 minutes for you. 4, learn something new. 5, tidy up your space. 6, product of the product. And 7, the company you keep determines the energy you have. So that's what I got for y'all. Oh.
Figure out how to unmute myself. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
This is so good. And like, there are different ebbs and flows and ups and downs in our business and in our lives. Like she said in the beginning, you don't just have to do this in regards to business. I mean, think about what you need to focus on in your life. Because here's the thing, if you are not feeling fulfilled in your career, or you're not feeling fulfilled in your relationships or in motherhood, or whatever subgroups or that you're part of, then that's going to impact everything else. So it could very well be that you're completely inspired in regards to Beachbody right now, but maybe you're not working the business because you're not inspired by your current relationship status, or by your, for me, teaching from home and also homeschooling my son and daughter really like sucked my energy a lot. I had to make a schedule so that I didn't get sucked all day long. So just kind of be aware of what space in your life needs this attention, needs you to reignite the spark. Like how do you get excited? I had to really sit and think, like, how do I get excited about teaching 5 kids out of my 90 on a Zoom call, when normally I'm standing on a stage in my classroom acting like a moron and all 90 of them are responding to me. So think about that. If something else, not Beachbody, not Team Grit and Grace wise, is bugging you, then it may be time for you to take some of these tips and apply them to that area of your life. And then you'll see all the areas start to flourish more as well. And some of you may be thinking, like, this is great. This is really great, but I don't really need this. Well, in 2 months you might. So it would be wise of you to take notes and be willing to revisit them. I come back to our team note calls. I go back to notes from national wake-up calls, from different summits that we've gone to. And I always try to put the person's name that's speaking and what their topic is at the top of the page, because then I can just see the top of the page and realize, okay, that's what I need right now. That's what I was trying to remember. And this is what I need to do to recenter myself. There are going to be times when you need these tips more than others. I was just saying to Ricky today, I was reading a book while we were out kayaking, and I was just saying to him, I had really gotten away from personal development. I was listening to podcasts here and there, but nothing super consistent. And I have made it a point in the last week and a half. I finished a book. I've taken 2 baths and read my book during my bath instead of, TikTok, if I'm being honest. And I've already started a new book. And today, while we were on the boat, he was fishing and I read like 50 pages of my book. So just think about these things. They seem really little, and you might feel like you don't have 15 minutes a day to do it, but you do. If you prioritize it, you do. Sometimes I don't get in the bathtub until 9 o'clock at night after the kids are asleep, but I get in the bathtub and pull out my book. So you're going to have time to do these things if you make time to do them. Same thing we tell our clients. You're going to have time to meal prep. You're going to have time to push play for 30 minutes if you make time to do it. Schedule it in. None of the things that Carissa mentioned tonight are hard. None of them are super time consuming. The one that took up the most time was the 15 minutes for you. And I love that she said, don't just take 15 minutes to lay on the couch and watch TikTok, or to Netflix and chill, or whatever it is you like to do. Like some mornings, having 15 minutes to sit and drink my coffee while it's warm is really nice. But that's not my 15 minutes for me. what gets me excited and keeps my spark going is doing something, creating something for 15 minutes. So my DIY projects, I may not finish it in one day, but I get to work on it a little bit each day. Sewing, taking a bath. I love to dance and sing. I'm horrible at both, but I love to do it when no one's watching. All those things. If you don't know what you would do with 15 minutes just for you every day, I really, really want to encourage you to figure it out. Not only is it super important for you to have an identity outside wife, mom, teacher, nurse, coach, not only is it important for you to have that identity of yourself, because you do tend to lose yourself in these other identities. Like, I'm Carson's mom, but I'm also Lindsay. So, and it's important for me to know what Lindsay likes. I know what Carson's mom likes, but I also need to know what Lindsay likes. If you've lost that, that can make it really hard for you to know how to show up for your business, because we talk all the time about, you know, the way we network with people is by sharing the things that are important to us and connecting with them based on those similarities we have. Guys, if the only thing that you do for you all day long is meal prep and exercise, then you are really limiting the people that you're going to connect with, because the people that are already meal prepping and exercising don't need you right now. I'm not saying you won't help them or you can't help them, but they're not seeking you right now. You need the people that are trying to do a DIY project with their little ones running around, or you need the people that love to go boating or love to knit or crochet or whatever it is you like to do. Like, those are the people you connect with. And then from there, establish the relationship and start the conversation about, oh, what are you doing every morning when you shake up that pink drink and you like get all hyped up and exercise? Like, I've never been the one to do that. Those are the kinds of conversations you want to have. I thought this was incredibly valuable. I took tons of notes, and I'll probably go in the team page when I post the recording and share some of like my biggest takeaway underneath, and encourage you guys to share which one of these you're going to focus on this week, because there's 7 tips. If you're really struggling with prioritizing yourself or your business right now, I wouldn't try to implement all 7 tomorrow. I would pick 1 or 2 and start there. But I don't think she went in any particular order. Was there any? Okay. So there's no particular order. So you pick the 2 that you think would be the most, you know, influential for you right now. Like, if you're someone who finds that you're complaining or moaning and groaning all day long, which I think is really easy right now because we've all been stuck in our house for 2.5 months at this point, then maybe you need to have the attitude of gratitude right now. Maybe that needs to be your top priority right now. Just figure yourself out. Listen to yourself. Take some time to figure yourself out, and then apply 1 or 2 and share which ones you're actually going to apply first. That way, it works for you, and you can help other people make it work for them as well. Christy made a comment over here that says it's the last day to sign up for the collective for only $10. So Carissa mentioned it's like a club fee. It's $10 a month. But I mentioned on the last call, it is so good. Like, it is above and beyond a podcast. You get a worksheet, you get notes. She is literally teaching you with like an easel and markers, and really, really teaching you. Yeah, and it is a tax write-off. It's personal development. So if you do it that's $120 a year, you write that off as your personal development. Just like the books you're reading. But her podcast is incredible, but this is like leveling up for $10 a month. You get 3 live calls. Usually they host like 1 or 2 other calls, her and her fiance, for your niche or your community. Like, there was one she did for teachers last month. There was one, Tara, I'll share the link in the team page. Also, if you sign up, message Carissa or Christy or me and let us know what email address you signed up with, because she's running this promotion where if you sign up and we tell her that this email address signed up under us, we each just need to give her 2 email addresses and we get a call with her. So Tara, if you sign up tonight and then 2 of your girlfriends sign up as well, have them give you their email addresses, and that way you get credit for that, and you could have a one-on-one call with Keisha. I don't know if anyone else has seen that promo, but I have Carissa's email address because she signed up when I recommended it. So I'm just waiting on one more person to sign up, and then I'll give Keisha those emails. But I signed up because Christy recommended it, so I'll give her my email. So that would be a cool opportunity. But yeah, the link is right there, and then we'll post it in the team page as well. It's incredible. It really is. All last month was focused on change and navigating change. It was just so good. So thank you so much, Carissa. The things that were going up in the comments while you were talking were really just like reinforcing what you were saying. Like in the beginning, you said, I'm only an Emerald coach, and I put minus the only because there's no only, okay? But then, yeah, people kind of just like reinforcing what you said. Christy said you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. The thing that I always say is bless and release. So that's I wrote that on there. But yeah, thank you. Love you guys. Have a great week.